Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the LeverX webinar series, a free educational service offered to SAP customers to inform and demonstrate SAP functionality and industry best practices to improve your business performance. Our webinar today is entitled Fundamentals of SAP Recipe Development, an overview. This webinar will provide an overview of SAP solutions supporting recipe development. SAP delivers a recipe development capability that can track, build, manage your mission-critical formulations. The overview will be followed by a demonstration of some of the key SAP recipe development capabilities and conclude with a discussion of some of the implementation considerations. My name is Alan Mendel, Vice President at LeverX, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we begin our topic, let me briefly introduce you to LeverX. LeverX helps companies increase business value by leveraging existing investments in SAP solutions.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Cramp, and as Alan said, we'll also have Nag Foray discussing implementation considerations for recipe development at the end of our webinar today. So let's get right into this. So a quick why SAP for recipe development. Here's just a kind of an overview of PLM. And when I say PLM, I'm talking about SAP's product lifecycle management functionality that is embedded in the ERP, as you see in the central blue box in the black text up there. SAP's PLM solution functionality is embedded in the ERP. So everybody on the line that is running SAP, you have PLM functionality under the covers of your present enterprise resource planning tool today. You just may not be taking advantage of that functionality. And what is some of that functionality? On the top line, you can see, materials, bombs, recipes, specifications, the crux of what we're going to be talking about today. Document management, collaboration below that. The overall, the overarching ability to manage the never-ending changes to those recipes and specifications. That's all built into this SAP functionality that we call PLM. Further, the next level that SAP will provide you with is product environmental compliance. So this is the idea of being able to extract and build your labeling, so you have compliant labeling and you can push your labeling out. Or if you want to run a compliance check, is this formulation that I'm working on compliant to the market that I'm going to sell it? How do your formulators know that the formulations they are building are compliant in Brazil, in Canada, in Germany, in the United States? With the built-in compliance checking within the SAP Recipe Development tool, your people can understand their regulatory exposures early and can act on them beforehand, being proactive rather than reactive, finding out after the fact that their formulation cannot be sold in a certain country. Last swim lane down at the bottom of that is the ability to synchronize your R&D labs, your master general recipe and your R&D recipe, and get it out to the various plants that need to actually produce this. And what SAP has a bit of functionality today called synchronization, to take and build and scale out that recipe so you can build it out in your plant.
So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Nag Foray. I'm a senior PLM consultant at LeverX. And today I'll be walking you through the general pain points we faced during a huge implementation with LeverX for a poultry client which distributes meat across the country. So the client was maintaining 15 years worth of varied information in different formats, all the process information, formulation, specification information in an unstructured format, and which was difficult for the customer to run their processes. And the same with the recipe development implementation was converted into a structured format and eventually was uploaded into the system. Coming to the BOMs, the bill of materials were maintained manually, and which was not accurate for cost calculations, and which was slowing down their processes. And coming to the label information, the labelings were printed out of external system, and it was like a duplication effort of getting the details from specification and recipes. But after the implementation, the recipe and the specification information was residing in the system, and it was easy for the customer to print the labels. And when it comes to compliance checks, it was all done manually, and there were chances for some missing information while running the compliance checks. And even the workflows were maintained outside the system, which was all manual. And for example, like they were communicating through emails. So the data updations for information like specifications, formulation data was not right. It was not rightly collected. Next, coming to a new product information. For example, the customer, there were new product rollouts. With the implementation of RD, there was a huge decrease in time to the market. The customer was running on a legacy system, and usually the turnaround period mentioned by the customer was like 60 to 80 days, and which was very tough for them in the current competitive market. Because of the system RD implementation, system has the information of specifications, recipes, and the customer was able to create a new product by the copying the recipes, the specification information, making changes to it, and then running all sort of approvals and quality checks and releasing the product to the market ahead of their competitor, and they are able to push the product into the market ahead of others.